smart parents, and welcome to another nakaka-happy episode of Smart Parenting Self-Care Sessions. My name is Ed Roy Lim and I'm part of the Smart Parenting Dad Squad and I am your host for today. Now, ngayong araw na to, we'll be having day 2 of our happiness class. If you don't know what the happiness class is and if you missed the first one, you can now watch it on our website, which is www.smartparenting.com.ph/online-events or search how to become Chief Happiness Officer. O di ba? Yung pagpapakadig pa lang natin na Chief Happiness Officer, it sounds like the perfect job. Now, for today, we'll be learning a technique that aims to help us become more positive and more confident parents. To tell us more about it, please welcome back the lovely Miss Michelle Tambunting of Happiness Class PH. Welcome back, Teacher Michelle.
Hello, everyone, and hi, Edroy, and hello to all our viewers. It's so nice to be back here today.
All right. So, Teacher Michelle, can you give us a bit of a teaser kung ano mangyayari sa class natin ngayong araw na to?
Okay, I'll give you 2 clues, 2 words. We are going to learn about power poses.
Oh, wow. Interesting, interesting 2 words na clue at saka t-shirt natin. Sounds like we're going to have a fun-filled class in store for us today pala, Teacher Michelle. Nakaka-curious naman yan. Power poses. But of course, it wouldn't be a class without my classmates. So today, unang-una, I'm joined by our Smart Parenting Mom Squad influencer, Grace Donato. Grace, kamusta ka naman ngayong araw na to?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm so excited from the first episode and now on our second episode, ready na ang pen and paper ko to learn more about happiness.
Oh, napakataas. Ramdam ko yung excitement natin ngayon, di ba? Ibang level. Mukhang nakatatlong tasa ng kape si Grace bago tayo mag-umpisa sa episode natin today. Oh, di ba? Oh, pero ito, Ako, sigurado ko excited ka, Grace. Si Michelle din excited to have you for today, di ba? Michelle?
Yes, I'm very excited from the last session. We really had fun together. And I'm glad Grace's energy is very high because you're going to need that today because we're going to use our bodies.
Yes. Infectious energy ang tatawag ko dyan. So, pero ito. I'm sure hindi lang tayo excited para sa natin, PE class sa araw na to. We're also joined by Debbie Villanueva, of course, kasama rin siya sa Smart Parenting Mom Squad natin. Debbie, kamusta ka?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here and mukhang kakaiba yung power poses. Matitesting ang aking physical skills. Pero it will help us to be more confident and more positive parents, sulit na sulit naman ang konting pawis.
Sure ako. Yung last episode yan natin, sulit na sulit din, di ba, yung ginawa natin activity. So ito na, Teacher Michelle, sobrang ready na kami for another happiness class. So Teacher Michelle, go ahead. Let's take it away.
Okay, so before we start, I just wanted to ask you guys, were you able to do anything about with your happiness meter that we made last time? Nakadagdag ba kayo ng hearts around your happiness meter or were you able to do it with your family at least? Maybe I'll ask Grace. How about Grace?
But actually, when we started, di ba, last episode, I was on like a rating number 3, yung happiness meter ko. And then I said after that episode, it was so much fun and so fulfilling na umabot ako ng 5 or even more than the happiness meter.
Yay!
And now I was able to spread the joy, of course, in not only in my house but also to my other mommy friends. Na
oh wow!
Going also with them, which is so much fun and parang kartolina na yata yung heart namin right now.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you, Grace. How about Edroy? How is your happiness meter doing?
Well, medyo up and down siya for the past weeks kasi nagkataon na dire-diretso yung mga activities pagdating sa hosting. So may mga times na bumaba talaga parang pagod na pagod. Pero bumabalik pa rin ako sa last week na pag-usapan natin na pagdating na whatever it takes. So masaya pa rin kasi syempre everything that I'm doing for family. So masaya pa rin siya.
And I remember because your happiness meter, your heart map had the big part of it was your family. So
yes,
I'm sure you were able to add to your joy this week by spending time with them.
Yes, in fact, last week I had a bit of a workation kasi may hosting ako ng wedding sa Tagaytay. And sinama ko yung family ko. So one night lang naman yung hosting, the other times yun, nakasama ko naman sila on a mini staycation. Siyempre, hindi kami lumabas. Basta kami
Nice.
Yun.
Nice. That's so nice to hear. Thanks, Edra. How about Debbie? How's your happiness meter doing?
Same as of last week, I think I was on 5. And parang mas malaki pa kasi nung weekend, we also went to Tagaytay. But because the kids were not allowed to dine in, doon kami kumain sa loob ng car. Tapos nandun din yung dog namin. So parang stress to sis, pero masaya naman yung mga kids kasi nakalabas sila, naka-ibang environment. So happy pa rin kahit yung ligpitan medyo mas kakaiba kasi mas mahirap pag masikip yung space, 'di ba? Pero since I can see my kids happy pa rin talaga.
Thanks, Debbie. So nice to hear na despite our limitations, diba? Despite not being able to dine in, despite not being able to move around much, we're still finding ways. So I'm glad, and I think as a your chief happiness officer or as a teacher, I'm glad that you were able to take away something from last session, which brings me to today's class, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy because we're going to move, and I'm going to share my screen. Just want to make sure you can see it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so just like what I said, we are going to be talking about power poses today. So when I think about power poses, I think about little children in superhero costumes, with their confident. Diba, Grace? I'm sure when your kids pretend play at home and you see them in their, parang when they put on their masks or their headgear or they're somebody else. So when they take on that different position, they feel so much more confident. So we're going to learn what power poses really are and how they can help us as not just as parents, but as people in everything that we do. But first, just like we do at every happiness class, where are you from 1 to 6 in the screen today? Are you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6?
O yun. Ayan, siguro ako na mag-umpisa dito, Teacher Michelle, no, sa ating
Sure.
scoring for today. Last time, I think I said nasa 5 ako, yes, I can. So, nasa na ba ako ngayon? Kaya inisip ko, kasi between 4 and 5 ako ngayon, medyo exhausted ng konti. Pero, of course, as just what I said nung first episode natin, encouraged pa rin kasi ako to do everything that I can to provide for my family. So, I would say, nasa number 5 pa rin ako. Nandun ako sa yes, I can. Na in the midst of medyo pagod tayo, yes, I can pa rin. Masaya pa rin.
And even if you're in between 4 and 5, that's exactly what happiness classes are for. It's for us to be able to increase your well-being. So for all of those who are watching now, please make sure you type into the comment section where you're at in the screen or the slide that you see today. Are you parent number 1, 2, 3, 4? Are you 5 or are you 6? How about Grace? Where are you in the slide today?
Yes, I think obvious naman sa energy ko, no? Kung
yeah.
kung ano number ako. I'm a number 5. Of course, yes, I can. And I hope all the parents also watching with us are at number 5 also. Na yes, we all can.
Thank you. And I think Grace is a classic example of how someone else's energy or someone else's mood can really boost somebody else's. I came here today needing some Coke Zero. No, needing a beverage or coffee to pick me up. But after hearing you, I'm so much more alive now. Thank you very much. How about Debbie? Debbie, where are you in the screen?
Yes, I remember nasa number 4 ako last week when we did the first episode. But now I'm on number 5 because madami na akong parang na-accomplish sa work na parang wala na akong hinahabol na deadlines and all. My kids are happy.
Yes.
My pet is happy. So, yes.
Nako, Debbie, after today's class, then the following week will be even better for you. I promise you that once we learn about power poses. So anyway, let's move on. So, I'm always, that I'm a big proponent of this, and it's very well known in happiness class, PH, that whenever we have a live class, I make sure that the kids move. Kasi personally, I really try to make it a point to move at least 30 minutes in a day. As much as I can, I do it first thing in the morning. So I try to wake up a little earlier just so that I can be more energetic like Grace, and my mood will be more calm during the day like Debbie, and I will also be more alive like Edroy is. So it's movement really does so much for me physically, for my mood, but it also helps my brain. So we rarely take advantage of the fact that or the knowledge that when we move, it actually also helps our children learn better when we encourage them to move. So my instructions today is like this. This is what we're going to do. You see the poses on the screen, right?
Yes.
So there are different poses. On the left side are the poses that are more like power poses that really make you feel more confident. And on the right side are poses that are less powerful, less energetic. So what we're going to do is I want you on your own to choose whatever pose you want to do as I freeze the music. So we're going to jump. Then when I stop the music, parang freeze dance lang ng mga bata, pero for adults today. So when we're jumping, I will stop the music. And when I stop the music, I want you to choose whatever pose you want to freeze at, according to what you see on the screen. And then I will play the music again. Then we'll do the next movement, which is skipping. And then freeze again. Then you choose a pose. And then we will do the other movement. And we encourage everybody else in the audience watching this live or watching the recording, please get up from your chair, stand up, or if you're unable to stand, stay in your seats, but make sure you're moving and you're getting your heart rate a little, faster. And the best way to do that is to make sure that your hands are somehow higher than your head. Okay? So I'm gonna stand up because I need to wake up. I will adjust my camera. Okay, Grace, ready?
Yan ako, sitting in place, pero gagawin ko pa rin.
Okay, Edroy, since you're in place, when we say jump, I want you to put your hands up and down, okay?
Okay. Game ako dyan.
Okay,
game
I
ako
will
dyan.
play. Okay, I will play the music now. I want everybody to jump. Okay, jump. Freeze. To suppose. Okay. Next. Skip. Skip and play. Get your Freeze. Good job, everybody. Galing nyo naman sumunod ng instructions. Okay, next is bend from side to side.
So, sarap nito actually. Parang sarap nito pag medyo tight yung katawan.
Lower! Edroy, lower!
Ah. Seryoso, pwede bang tumagal tayo sa
Please.
ito?
Freeze. You can choose any pose, ha? Even left or right. Okay, let's go. Run in place.
Edroy, kaya mo yan.
Yung run ni Michelle pa, hindi talagang dito na takbo eh.
Faster!
Hindi jogging eh. Si Michelle talaga run na run eh. On ka.
Freeze. Nice. Okay. Whew. Okay, guys, the last is the most challenging. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Jumping jacks tayo.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's catch our breath.
Galang,
Hi.
hinga-hinga ako. Mukhang kailangan ko ng konting muscle relaxant at saka pain reliever para sa joints.
Okay, don't forget to drink your water. Hi.
Ayan. Siguro Michelle, while we're having a quick break and try to catch our breath, again, encourage namin ang lahat ng viewers natin to join our activity. We'll play along and do the activities with us. And kung, syempre, share nyo yung mga nafe-feel nyo sa comment section din natin. Diba? Para naman makita rin namin how you guys are feeling. Ayun. Teacher Michelle?
Yes, Edroy, I want to check in with you because ikaw yun between 4 to 5. So you're a little exhausted. How are you feeling now that you moved a little bit?
Alam mo, to be totally honest, may good vibes na pumasok na ginagawa natin to. And what really helped is, besides doing the activity by myself, yung kasama ko kayo, ay yung sabi nga natin kanina, di ba, yung energy ni Grace, yung energy ni Debbie, yung energy mo, Michelle. Nakakatulong siya eh. Nakakatulong siya ng todo. I think halata rin naman sa boses ko ngayon na mas alive siya. Mas alive siya ngayon.
I love it. So did you, for Grace and Debbie, whoever wants to answer this, do you feel better, more energetic? Did your well-being rating go up a little bit just by moving a little?
Debbie.
Yes. Parang
Hinihingal pa eh.
parang hindi pa makapagsalita.
Hindi mo nalatang natoto effort ka din.
That my energy went.
Hindi mo nalata.
Wait lang. Sige, si Grace muna.
Okay.
Si Grace muna.
Wala.
Ganun kahingal eh. Pinasa eh.
Okay nga. No. Actually, surprisingly, you know the thing na adrenaline rush?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kahit nag-boost ka ng energy, nag-exert ka ng effort, for some reason, you get more energy when you exercise and it makes you feel happier. Diba?
Yes.
Parang ganun yung feel. Yeah.
Actually, I think that's a common misconception, di ba? We tell ourselves, I won't work out or I won't exercise, I won't move first thing in the morning kasi mapapagod ako, I have so much to do. But in reality, it's really what gets our brains moving. My son with special needs who's 10, we make sure that he takes a walk before class or he moves a little bit before class. Or if there's no time, maybe I'll make him do 20 jumping jacks before he goes online because it helps him focus better. So hindi sila naiiba sa atin. What we need to do it for ourselves also. How about Debbie? Debbie, kaya mo na magsalita?
Yeah.
Okay na.
Grabe, judge pala dito. Judger pala kayo. Charot. My daughter does this also before she starts class. During homeroom, nag-exercise talaga sila iba-iba. So, nung nag-start, kasi medyo mahiyain siya. So, I join her na parang, let's do this. Ganyan, para ganahan siya. So, napapansin ko pagka yung days na I join her, mas energetic nga ako when I am at work already. Tapos ngayon na parang, yung after the dance or after the jump, skip, bend, yung poses makes me parang comfortable kasi nakaharap ka sa camera tapos parang nagpo-pose ka sa camera, ganun. So parang yung confidence ko, hindi lang yung happiness ko, yung confidence ko tumataas din.
Yeah.
I love that.
Tsaka yung pressure, nakita mo si Michelle, grabe tumakbo kanina ng run. No?
Oo.
Later, you will realize why I asked you to choose among the different poses on the screen. So merong meanings yung different poses that we see. And for our audience who's watching the live and doing the different poses, please take note and try to remember how you felt doing each open pose or each closed pose, when you're hunched over and things like that.
Pero Teacher Michelle, may question lang ako. Did you come up with those, with the power poses that we did? Is it something that you came up by yourself? Or is it something that's already being practiced like outside yung happiness classes na ginagawa natin? At saka, siguro tatanong ng mga viewers natin, may scientific basis pa yung paggamit natin ng power poses natin?
Yes, actually how I wish I could take credit for it, pero hindi sa akin nanggaling yung power pose. I just adapted it for the happiness class PH, but the idea of power poses really came from a lady, and she's a social psychologist, and her name is Amy Cuddy. And to catch her TED Talk, which turned out to be the second most popular TED Talk that was ever presented. I encourage all those watching to watch it because it's very informative. But Amy Cuddy kasi, she did a study at Harvard, and her point was that, di ba, we have certain poses or certain body movements, non-verbal body movements, di ba? And many times, those non-verbal body movements, they reflect how we feel. So kunyari, masaya tayo, nakangiti tayo, or we're excited, we're moving a little faster. But if we're a little down or a little, di ba, hindi ka masyadong ganado, mas mabagal ang galaw mo, or maybe you're hunched over, or you're looking down, you're not as energetic, wide and open. So the study of Amy Cuddy actually showed that it doesn't just reflect feelings, but power poses or body movements can actually reinforce feelings. So they did a study, and their study was they had people go into a room and then hold a certain power pose. And power poses are usually open. The ones that, like, when you're like this, or your hands are parang Wonder Woman pose. Parang Darna, pero hindi yun kinakain yung bato, ha. Hands on your waist, the superhero pose. I will show you that later. But anything that really encourages you to open and expand is a power pose. But anything where maybe your hands are crossed, when you're maybe touching your neck or things like that, that usually signifies less confidence or fear. Diba? Like when you come into, how many of us in the workplace have come into a meeting or gone into a presentation where you just straighten your back a little bit and you feel more confident? But when you body language, diba, when you see somebody walk in who's a little hunched over, tapos medyo fidgety, touching here, ganyan, alam mong medyo hindi, that person is not as confident or is a little fearful of the situation. So the idea of power poses really came from Amy Cuddy, and they did the study, and they showed that people who kept the pose for 2 minutes. So imagine, because we don't have really the luxury of time on live now, but open your arms up like this. And I encourage the audience to do that as well. And imagine you just really straighten your back, and imagine that you are holding this pose for 2 minutes. Pang biceps yan, Edroy. So 2 minutes, you're like this. So let's just hold it for 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, down. So anyway, what Amy did was she had people in the study, in the confines of a room without any stimulation, to hold certain poses for 2 minutes. So imagine that pose for 2 minutes. And they found that those that held power poses like that, which opened you up and expanded you, were actually more confident. They were able to take risks more. They subjected them to certain tests and things after. So that is a big revelation. So the testosterone levels increased. And yung testosterone is our hormone in our body that has everything to do with confidence, with aggressiveness, with being sure of yourself. And then cortisol levels, which is our stress hormone, bumaba. So hindi lang there is a behavioral basis for it, but there was a scientific basis for it, and they saw that that was the effect of it. So that in a nutshell, that's what power poses are, Edroy.
Wow. Actually, it makes a lot of sense yung sinabi mo, Michelle, no, about it. It's not just actually as human beings. I think there are certain animals also na when they're in the wild, they do power poses to look bigger para sa mga predators nila and stuff. So,
yes.
And that's actually very, very true yung minention mo about observing people when you're in the office, when you're outside. Even in sports, when you play sports, sabi nga nila, body language, yun yung unang-unang mag-giveaway kung kaya mo talunin yung kabilang team or yung opponent mo, di ba, sa sports. And to be totally honest, itong part na to nung pina-wide open mo kami ganyan, parang ang sarap. Actually, hindi lang sa biceps, pati sa likod. Medyo tight yung likod ko eh. Sa kakaupo. Medyo
I'd
tight yung
love to
likod ko.
know how it made you feel. So if you had your arms open like this, as opposed to you hunched over your desk, I want to know how different it feels. Grace, ikaw. Imagine yourself holding that position.
Yeah. For this one, I feel the feeling of welcome. Like welcoming whatever's coming next or welcoming whatever's in front of you.
Yes.
But here kasi parang I feel so close. Parang
Mhm.
I'm not so open to anything. Parang I don't want to do anything or I don't want to talk to anyone. Parang ganun feeling ko.
So that basically isn't a power pose because it's not making you feel confident or open, di ba? And actually, I love the study of Amy Cuddy because also I adapted it for Happiness Class PH kasi I see it in my son. My son with autism has a difficult time attending in class. You know, just really focusing and keeping his attention. And how many of you, like Debbie, I would love to know, ano yung posture ng anak ninyo, Edroy, when they're in online class? How is their posture when they're attending class?
On my end, hindi pa
Sa
nagsuschool
akin-
kasi yung anak ko eh. So,
Hindi pa pala. Okay.
Punta kay Debbie at kay Grace for this one.
How about Debbie?
Sa akin minsan pagka yung tinatamad siya sa morning, yung parang kulang yung tulog niya, talagang nakaganon lang siya, ganyan. So,
Mm-mm.
I tell her to sit properly. So, parang mas magets niya yung naiintindihan ni teacher. Tapos pagka ganyan, unti-unti, nakikita ko naman sa face niya na nagbabago yung mood niya na parang nagla-lighten up, na nakiki-join na siya dun sa activity ng class. So, yun, okay nga siya.
True. How about Grace? How about your kids?
Yes. At first, kasi of course, when we started the online class, we didn't have really the correct tables and the correct chairs, you know. So their posture was really different and really wrong. Na it super shows sa kanilang participation in class. That's why it was very important for me to invest on the correct chairs, para sa tamang posture, to make them also like to push them a little bit further to sit properly kapag class, if it's class time, para nasa zone. Para kumbaga in the
Yes.
zone sila kapag maganda yung posture and yung upo nila.
That's so true. You know, that's one thing that I really realized with my son because many times nakaganyan yan or on his elbow. And I realized that if you keep their core straight, it's easier for them to focus and to attend. So I noticed that because I exaggerate it if he gives a correct answer in class or if he's participating on the opposite side of the screen, I have my arms up or I'm showing him that I'm really happy because then it reflects back to the person how you're feeling, but at the same time he also mimics my actions. So I feel that when he does that, he's more confident. So I'd like you to now maybe just think about how this reflects to yourself. Kasi our power poses are really for our own well-being. We need to embody it muna as parents before we can teach it to our kids, diba? So think about how you are during the week when you're working and what kind of poses you hold or how is your body language? How do you because we underestimate the power of our bodies and how our bodies actually affect our feelings and our thoughts. Kasi we can compartmentalize, pero in reality, it's one fluid thing. It has to be aligned. So I'd love to hear from you, kunyari Edroy, ikaw, when you're hosting, when you're not feeling so, let's say you're exhausted or medyo pagod ka na and hindi mo and we'd love to hear from the audience as well. Please let us know. Parang it's a good way to reflect on what is the majority of the week or when you're working, where is your body there? What is your pose during the week?
Wow, that's a great question, Michelle. Kasi ngayon, just to share, hosting right now for my work, dalawang klase siya. Online hosting like this one, na nakaupo lang ako. And very limited live hosting since nga meron pa rin tayong pandemic and meron tayong mga restrictions na
Right.
pina-follow. So whenever I'm hosting online, like this, medyo ang position is nakaslouch ng konti. Kasi I try to look at the camera. Pero that's for the overall body posture. Pero in body language, I try to be as open as possible. Pero whenever I do live hosting, it's always open body posture. Kasi I'd like to believe that communicating with people, with your loved ones, with our children, with our spouses, with our friends, it's not just words and facial expression. A huge part of it is body language.
Yes.
It's body language. So when we were doing the poses earlier on, lalo na nag-hold tayo ng 15 seconds na ganito, I felt a sudden rush of openness even through the times na, yun nga, for the past week, medyo physically at saka mentally exhausted ako. Pero yun nga, nakakatulong siya. And what I've realized, and I hope I can share this with our viewers also, I've realized that over the course of the past week, my overall body language, overall pose ko dito sa bahay was not that good. Parang ramdam na ramdam ng family ko rin na pagod ako. Which I realized is dapat hindi ko ginagawa. Dapat yung power poses na or poses na pinapakita ko sa kanila, open pa rin. Na okay ako. Parang ganun siya. So yun. But again, sabi, di ba Michelle, and we like to encourage our viewers also to do the same thing. Ang maganda kasi na meron tayong tribe, may community tayo, may village tayo, nakasama, na nag-uusap tayo on how to deal with things and malalaman natin that we're not alone with what we're going through. So it becomes a lot easier for us. So again, we encourage our viewers to just type on kung ano yung mga thoughts nyo about sa pinag-uusapan namin nila Michelle dito sa show natin for today.
Or if you want to share with us your favorite power pose, one of my favorite, I like to, actually not that I don't like the word, but I like to think of courage pose more than power pose. But one of my favorite courage poses is one I saw online, and it was part of the study. And when I'm seated at my desk and I'm trying to create something or write, which I'm trying to do now, one of the poses that Amy Cuddy was talking about was when you have your hands over your head like this, and you're leaning back. Try it. Everybody try it. If you can put up your leg somewhere, put it up. Okay, stay there for 15 seconds. Okay, so imagine yourself in your desk or wherever you are, and you're trying to come up with something, or you're trying to create something, or you're trying to write, and you're reflecting. Can you reflect better this way, or if you were holding this position? Diba? Saan mas pumapasok ang ideas mo, diba? It's when your body is open. It's when, diba? It's when you're more so the next time, I always remind myself, the next time I have to come up with something creative, I need to do that pose. And it's true, when you think about it, it's like you're lying on a beach. It's like you're reclining. And when you do that, you're allowing more ideas to come. Kasi we really talagang underestimate how powerful our bodies can be in helping us become more positive, in helping us become more, more open and more engaged. Grace, how about you in the work that you do? What kind of, when you reflect back on your week, what pose do you hold most often?
Actually, I haven't had any power pose yet. This is my first time. Although, kasi hindi ako morning person. I don't know if anyone can relate to me. I'm not a morning person at all. Kailangan ko i-process yung araw. So I'm leaning towards to practicing more of the power pose na yung nakaganito.
Yep, that's a good pose.
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, balak ko, from now on, I'll do this for like a few minutes.
She does it 2 minutes in front of the mirror.
And then I'll do that as like preparation for being a super mom or whatever. Because I remember this, I'm not sure if anyone's a fan of Grey's Anatomy.
Super, me.
Yes. You know Amelia Shepherd, diba? Every time she does something like a surgery that's so important, she does that. It's the parang hero pose that she does. And I think that's the first time I saw it there. So I think I'm gonna apply that also since I see that this is very effective. And I felt it kanina talaga that it was very effective.
Did you feel any difference when you were reclining with your arms open wide behind your head?
This one is super, parang it's relaxing eh. This one
Mm-hmm.
is parang it makes your mind so open and parang so blank na parang ang daming pwedeng mag-flow sa utak mo. So this one is very relaxing. This one is parang ready for battle.
Yeah.
Every power pose has a different, story or a
Yes.
different purpose for me.
That's true. That's so true. And, I love your idea that you want to do it in the morning. I think there's so much wisdom. Di ba whenever we stretch in the morning, yung talagang super duper stretch. Like when you allow yourself to do that, I think that in itself is a great power pose because you're preparing your body to accept and to engage with your day. How about Debbie? Ikaw, with the work or the stuff that you do during the week, ano yung dominant pose mo?
Kasi ako, when I go to work, sa office kasi talaga ako.
Mm-mm.
When I do reports, parang pagka nakikita ko na, may mali ito mapapagalitan ako dito. Siyempre, yung una, ganyan ka, di ba? Parang, ano ba to? Ganun. Tapos parang, napapagod ka na mag-isip. So, ginagawa ko yon yung gaganyan ako. Tapos,
Mm.
dun lang siya biglang, alam ko na. Tapos, tuloy-tuloy na. Makukuha ko na yung drive
Perfect!
ko dun sa ginagawa ko. Tapos, minsan din, kasi I mentioned on the previous, di ba, na nagwa-vlog ako. Sometimes, pagka hindi coherent yung clip sa isa't isa, naiinis din ako na parang, paano ba to? Tapos parang, I take a break. Talagang, yung nakaganyan, nakasanda lang ako. Paano kaya to? Tapos, dun lang din siya pumapasok. And one more thing, yung sinabi ni Mami Grace kanina, yung ganito na post.
Oo.
Kasi I mentioned also na I don't do the cooking, my husband does. Pero pagka wala yung husband ko, kasi he works on Saturdays, I do not. So I'm nakatoka for the breakfast of the kids. So pag nagluluto ako, nakaganyan talaga ako. Kasi parang I felt powerful na, kala mo ikaw lang marunong magluto. Marunong ako magprito ng itlog. Parang marunong ako magprito ng itlog tsaka hotdog, no? Kaya nakaganyan ako pag nagluluto ako, kahit prito lang ng itlog tsaka hotdog yung ginagawa ko.
So before you cook, bago ka nagluluto, naka Wonder Woman pose ka pala, no?
Yes, tapos
Ang dagan mo na ng
while cooking
costume.
yung isa dun sa pangluto, tapos yung isa nandito pa rin. Para powerful pa rin yung datingan.
Oo. Di ba, can you imagine doing that? Hirap ka na nga, it's not your comfort zone to cook, di ba? Can you imagine cooking and then you're slouched over and you're looking down? Parang ang lungkot naman ng buhay mo, di ba? So really,
Yes.
I love what you all said about that, your different body languages and the different ways that you use your body during the week. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold certain poses for a few seconds. I really believe in this, that if it's like learning to ride a bike, we can actually rewire our brains. If we're so used to being more negative, or if and this is no way near toxic positivity like people are saying. It's more, you're helping yourself remember what it feels like to feel more confident. So if you can hold certain poses for 2 minutes during the morning in the confines of the bathroom, yun, walang nakatingin sa'yo, di ba, na iisipin, ano kayang ginagawa ni Grace? Bakit kaya siya naka superhero pose, right? And you can always do it in the private, and that's your form of self-care. Kasi ang nangyayari doon is you're really helping yourself find a position or a body movement that makes you feel good. Because really, what do power poses do? They increase feelings of strength. And that's what we all need during this time. And they decrease feelings of fear, which we have a lot of. So I really think that power poses are courage poses, I'd rather call them, really can really help us. Because if we embody it, a slouched parent will have a slouched son or daughter. A confident parent and an open, warm parent will have an open and warm daughter and son, di ba? If your children see you walking around with your head down all day, they will embody that as well. But if they see you looking towards the sun, they will look towards the sun, di ba? So what we will do now is, for few seconds, we are going to hold certain poses. So we'd like to invite our audience watching to hold these poses as well. So we're going to shift from different poses. So this pose is called the bold and confident pose. So if we can stand up and do this, we'll hold it for a good 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And look towards the sun. Look high, guys. Look as high as you can. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Next, Wonder Woman pose, yung favorite ni Debbie. Every time na nagluluto ako, iisipin ko to, Deb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Straighten your back and open your chest. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ayan, this is my favorite, the victory pose. Okay. 1, 2, look up. 3, 4. Please, everybody watching the live, do it from your homes. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, next is, I like this one. They call it the Statue of Liberty, but it's like di ba? It's parang a yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I like Grace kasi nakatingin ka sa sun. 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, you guys. How did that feel?
Sige, umpisa na ako. May isa akong realization bago lahat no, Michelle.
Yes.
Debbie, please. Na-realize ko, nung tumingin ako pa bubungan, kailangan ko maglinis sa bubungan ko. Yun ang realization ko ngayon. No? Pero besides that, ang masasabi ko lang, wow. The power poses that we did. Ako, even from someone who was just sitting down, may ibang klaseng release siya. Positive release. I would call it positive release. May iba, basta may iba siya na parang may happy hormones na pumapasok. Nararamdaman mo. Iba siya. I mean, it might look simple and just a plain activity, but the impact and the effect, it's a lot more than it is. A lot more than it is.
You know, and I love what you said, Edroy, kasi it's a simple thing and we underestimate the power of simplicity. Really, we are the ones who make our lives so complicated. But can you imagine if you had a secret language at home, let's say between you and your spouse or you and your children, where whenever you were faced with something, you can say, oh, ano yung power pose natin? Diba? You know, it's something that your children will carry with them so that paglaki nila, they will remember, gosh, I remember when we were young, if there was a problem, mom would tell us to look towards the sun and put up your hands or something. Diba? Yun, have your own secret power pose or courage pose with each other. And I personally, if I could have taken a screenshot, I would have taken Grace. Yun, Statue of Liberty or power pose where you were looking up.
Feel
eh. Oh, actually, natalo mo yung Statue of Liberty. Meron na silang pampalit.
Akala ko may susunod na na dance performance number si Grace after ng post na yun.
Ready na ako eh.
Diba? Parang may parang nung titignan ko, sabi ko, uy, may susunod ata, hindi ako na-inform.
Talaga, just watching you I was able to reflect and think to myself many times kasi pag may pinagdadaanan tayo, di ba? Or especially now, it's so easy for us to look within ourselves, yun dito lang, yun very, very confined space. But if we look outwards, right? We don't get so stuck in our heads. And that's the reason why this is not a power pose. And that's the reason why this is a power pose. because we're looking outwards, we're looking higher, we're looking towards God, we're looking towards the sun rather than looking down and feeling sorry for ourselves, diba? How about Debbie? How did that make you feel?
It made me feel more energetic and more confident yung mga power pose. I remember kasi when my children would play like superhero type, they would often get this one, my
Yeah.
scarf. Tapos itatay lang nila sa leeg nila. Then parang, ha! Ha! May sound effects pa sila eh. Bukod dun sa pose nila, may sound effects pa. Tapos parang
Yes.
nagka-karate and all. Tapos parang they're so very happy. Tapos parang ako, nasaan na naman yung scarf ko? Ganun na lang maiisip ko. Tapos parang it reminded me of them na parang, oo nga no, silang mga bata pa, alam nila yung power poses that would make them feel happy and confident. So, bakit hindi naman natin i-apply sa atin na matanda na tayo? Or
Mm-mm.
matanda na. Mga grown-ups na tayo. Tapos,
Mature.
parang
True.
it can also apply to us.
Oo, kasi we're so worried about what other people will say, di ba? Ang mga bata, hindi eh. Sige lang, they will use their bodies, they'll express themselves to their bodies. Tayo naman, we have to unlearn so much of that. And like, di ba we said last time when we were doing the heart maps, di ba, were you looking ahead? Were you looking at the future? Were you thinking about the past? No, you were in the moment. And when you're doing the power pose, when you're doing it, are you doing it when you did this? Did you say, gagawin ko to kasi mamayang gabi kailangan kong gawin ang whatever? Hindi, di ba? You were in the moment. You were taking care of yourself through your body, and then everything just flows after that. So I think I want that, my wish is that's our biggest takeaway from today, is that, and there's always a call to action at the end of every happiness class, and calls to action ba, or call to actions. Anyway, two homework and hard work for the week. One would be, think of a special courage or power pose that you can share with your family. That can be your secret, parang di ba may secret handshake, may secret ganyan. This is your secret courage or power pose na when you find yourselves in a bind, or when you're having problems, or there's a burden or a situation that you have to face, that you know that the children and your spouse and you know that whenever you do this courage pose or power pose, hinaharap nyo with courage, or diba, with more power and with more confidence. So hopefully, it becomes second language to your children at home, and it's something that they'll carry with them na at least, diba, imagine kung, let's say, your child goes up to you, Debbie, Mom, I have a test tomorrow, hirap mag-aral. Then, diba, you can say, or remember, ano ba yung power courage pose natin? Diba, let's make it, second nature to us. And second is, I want you now to think of your power pose. What would be a power pose that you will have? And I want to take a group photo before we go. Ano yung favorite power pose? I will give you 5 seconds to think of it.
Sir, just to clarify, the power pose na nagawa na natin kanina, or can we make our own power pose?
You can make your own. Basta anything that makes you feel confident and makes you feel open, makes you feel secure in yourself, like you can conquer the world. A power pose that you promise me you will hold for 2 minutes, not now, but tomorrow morning when you wake up in front of the mirror on your own. So let's think. 5 seconds.
Napaisip ako ng sobrang lalim.
5 seconds, Kaya.
Okay.
And then when I say go, I will take a group photo, because this is going to our Happiness Class PH scrapbook. Because we have our kids do power poses. In fact, we had one class where they had their own superhero capes and they made their courage symbols. Tapos we took a photo. So as parents, let's have our own. And I encourage the parents who are watching now to think of that power pose and maybe silently do it, because I'm not sure you can share a photo on Facebook. But you can actually describe your power pose. So what's your pose?
Sabay-sabay ba? Isa-isa ba? Sabay-sabay. Isa-isa ba? Sabay-sabay.
Isa-isa muna. Isa-isa.
Isa. Teka lang.
What's your power pose?
Yung matamaan ko yung gitara ko. Teka lang. Yan. Full chest out
Nice.
in the sky. Tapos talagang, di kita yung kamay ko, pero yung kamay ko nakaganyan. Nakaganyan. As in talagang stretch out.
I
Parang
love
yung
it.
dating ko, here I come world.
I love that. How about
Wait,
Grace? What's your power pose?
Stick to this. I have two. I will stick to this one. And of course, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
Para
because you did that so well.
achieved.
Cheerleader, kulang na lang pom-poms. How about Debbie?
I do this.
Pareho tayong power pose. Ako
Para-
rin, ganun. Okay, so let's take a photo, okay? Everybody, one. I can only put up one hand, but I'm supposed to have two. So, 1, 2, 3. Power pose! 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everybody. And that's the end of today's happiness class. I hope you enjoyed.
Wow, una-una Michelle, thank you for teaching us. It's always so. Ito medyo nahalata, medyo nasa stutter ako, medyo nasa speechless ako dun sa mga ginawa natin kasi medyo mind-blowing siya. Again, mind-blowing na sobrang simpleng mga sobrang simpleng maliliit na bagay na ganito can have a big effect not just for us and our own happiness but to our families and to our loved ones. Diba? Kasi grabe talaga yung power ng power poses natin. And I don't know, who knew na yung konting mga tweaks natin pagdating sa posture natin, pag umuupo tayo, tumatayo tayo, can make us all feel a lot better pala, no, Teacher Michelle. And I hope that everyone who are watching this show today found it to be very, very helpful, tsaka very, very effective para sa ating lahat. So moms and dads, if you want to know more about in-depth happiness classes, you can follow Happiness Class PH on Facebook or send them a message to inquire about their classes. You can also rewatch this video on smartparenting.com.ph/online-events and also on Smart Parenting's FB page and YouTube channels. I-search lang po natin doon, lalabas na yan itong episode natin na to. Or if you know other moms and dads who need or deserve a dose of self-care, tag them or share this video with them. Di ba? Mas ganda yung nakakatulong tayo sa mga kapwa moms and dads natin. And I'm sure your small gesture na yon would mean so much pagdating sa mga friends and ng parents din na katulad natin. So thank you again for joining us on Smart Parenting Self-Care Sessions. Thank you, classmates. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Grace. And of course, special thank you kay Teacher Michelle. Baka naman natin si Teacher Michelle, guys.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Clapping for you also.
Yes, so we'll see you all in
Thank
the
you,
next
Teacher Michelle.
happiness class. So kita-kita tayo again. To all the parents, kita-kita tayo sa next happiness class natin. Bye-bye!
Bye.